Hello guys, my name is Dipen Dikshit. I am from YouTube video channel of Dipen618. In this existing video lecture, we are going to insert, update, delete the records from MS Access database with the help of Java application. But guys, before starting this video, I want to make you aware few things that you should know that how to create a link between the Java application and the MS Access database. You should also have the basic concepts of ODBC, JDBC and how to create DSN, that is data source name. You should also have the concept of how to fetch information from MS Access database. If you don't know the answer of these type of questions, then guys, please watch the first section of this video. Okay, otherwise you will face problem in this section of video that I am going to produce before you. So guys, we have already created a login form in our previous video lecture. In this section we will deal with our client form, but before dealing with that client form, we should create the MS Access database. So guys, we will again create a new MS Access database. So I have already created our MS Access database. You can see here that inside document folder I have created one data2 named MS Access database, and how to create a database in MS Access I have already explained you in the earlier section of this video. So if you double click this table 2, then here you can see there is a field or a column named name, there is a second column named ID, and there is a third column named age. I have inserted, or you can say I have attached a primary key with this ID named column, so no duplicate data will be entered in this ID named column. Moreover, also you can see that I have inserted some data also inside these three columns. So you will create your MS Access database in this way. Okay, so here is your database which is saved inside this document name folder. So the name of this database is data2 guys. Now see guys, I have also created the DSN. As you can see inside administrative tool, if you go into the ODBC and if you click system DSN, then here you can see that I have created one DSN named Vandana, and if you see here, then with this DSN name guys, I have attached this data2 named MS Access database. As you can see here, here is the database that I have related with this Vandana named DSN. So in this way you will be creating the MS Access database. See guys, what is the Java application on which we are going to work. So my Java application is on the desktop, and one thing more guys, I have created a nodes of SQL language, and that SQL language is mainly related with the Oracle. So if you have some problem in SQL language regarding anything guys, then I have worked hard while creating that nodes of that SQL language. So at the end of this video I will give you the link to download that book from a site. So just continue with the main topic that we are going. So here I will compile my Ligin.java. You can see that Ligin.java is existing on your desktop, and if you write here Java Ligin, here you will give your username and here you will give your password and login. So guys, we have received a message of login success and we click OK. So guys, in the previous video lecture we have already dealt with the subjects that how to create the login form, how to add text box to that login form. and how the username and the password given by the user is verified from the data that is existing inside that MS Access database. So these are the subjects that already we have dealt in our previous video lecture. So here we are not going to deal with this subjects. So watch here guys, we have this student form, and this is the form on which we are going to work. Means how this form will be created, how you will add text boxes, labels. Means we will have a very quick view related with the graphics portion of that advanced Java. So here you can see the three area: name, ID, age, and as per these three fields we have created the different columns inside our MS Access database that you have just seen earlier. So guys, now we will see that what are the codes which are responsible for the creation of this student form. So here you can see guys that here is a file named client.java which is related with this student form, and here is another file which is login.java which is related with the login form. So this means about this login.java we have already discussed each and every code which is existing inside it in our previous video lecture. So here we are going to focus entirely on this client.java. So guys, if you open this client.java, then just keep the form here so that we can compare it in a best possible manner. So here guys, you see that I have imported some Java, javax.swing, java.or, java.or.event, and java.sql. So these are the imports that you have to do in the file. And here you see guys, here is one single class that we have used. We have used a class named client which has extended JFrame and implemented action listener. Here are few object reference variable that I have created in the class scope area. Now guys, if you come to here itself, then here you can see that I have created one constructor named client. Okay, so this is actually the constructor, and note guys, inside this client name class we have no main method. So actually main method is existing inside that login.java. Okay, so if you see here that if you open this login.java, so I want to make you view a single statement which is very important. That you see here guys, that after you receive the message of login success, then here I have created the object of client class, and as this object of client class will be created, the constructor related with the client class will be called. So if the constructor related with this client class is called, then what will happen is that guys, that if you see that client.java, then here is the constructor of that client class. Then inside this client name constructor, I have added all the labels, text boxes, buttons to the form. So your student form appear in front of you, and here you can see guys that the layout of the form is null, and the title of the form is student form. And here you can see guys that the code which are responsible for adding the labels like name, ID, age, total number of records, and so we have added 5 labels to our student form. Then we have guys, if you see here, I have added 3 text field. So if you compare this form, then first, second and third text field. Now guys, after adding the text field to the form, I have added some buttons to the form. So here are the 7 buttons that I have added to the form, like save button, next button, show button, delete, back, this type of things. So in this way you would be adding these components to the form. At the end guys, you will see that I have added action listener to these type of JB1, JB2, JB3, means whatever the buttons that we have added to the form, we have added action listener to those things. Now guys, here from the set size we have created the size of the form, or you can say we have fixed the size of the form, and with the help of set visible method we have made the form visible in front of us. So this is actually the main code lying behind the creation of that student form. So guys, we have read all the codes which is responsible for the creation of that student form. Now we will see guys that how with the help of Java application we insert, delete and update records in the MS Access database. So just close this client.java and we are on our DOS prompt. So compile that ligin.java and we are running that ligin.java. Give your verification, login success, our username and identity is verified. So guys, student form is appeared in front of you, and here you are seeing the total number of record equal to 2. Means this is the record which is existing inside your MS Access database. Moreover guys, if you open your MS Access database, that is data 2, then inside this also you will see that you have only 2 records, one Dipen and the second one Vandana. So guys, now we will learn that how this total number of record equal to 2 is displayed here. So for this we have to open our client.java form and we will see the codes which is responsible for displaying the total number of records. So here guys, inside this client class, and we have a client constructor, and inside this client constructor, as this constructor runs, I have called an update method, as you can see here. So guys, after the execution of update method, these labels, these text fields are added to the form. So see guys, what is this update method? I have created one update method, here you can see, and that update method I have called in constructor. So down here you can see guys that method for updating the number of rows, public void update method, and inside this update method I have used the try and catch block, as you can see here, the entire method. Okay, up to this. So guys, when we enter inside this try block, I have used a method named connect. Okay, so if I have called this method, then see guys, I have created this method somewhere else, and this method is responsible for creating a link between MS Access database and Java application. So see guys, where I have created this method and the code inside this method. So here you can see guys, I have created this method for creating the link, or you can say the connection. So inside this method I have also used the try and catch block, and you can see here that JDBC, ODBC, and this is the DSN name Vandana that I have used for creating a link between MS Access database and the Java application. So in this way guys, first I have established a link between the Java and the MS Access database named data2, and after establishing a link guys, you can see that I have created the object of that statement class, and here you see that result set type scroll, means this is the argument that we have used. So I'm not going to explain the meaning of this argument because the use of this will be explained later in the video. So here guys, focus. I have created a variable whose data type is a string. Here you can see this is SQL named variable, and inside this SQL named variable I have written one SQL query that select count star from table 2. So table 2 is exactly the table which is existing inside that data2 named access database, and count is a method guys which is responsible for calculating the total number of rows which is existing inside a table 2. And further guys, so guys, with the help of this last method which is existing inside the result set class, now the rs named object will be directing to the last row which is existing inside the table 2. And ultimately guys, you are seeing the count variable. So guys, if you go in the class scope area, then here you can see that we have declared a variable whose data type is int and named count. So we have used this count name variable to store the number here. So count equal to rs.getRow. So what will happen guys, that this rs.getRow will return the number of the last row. So guys, as we know that our table 2 contain only 2 rows, so this rs.getRow will return 2 to this count. Okay, so in this way guys, this all the statement existing inside this update method will execute. So now this count variable is having the value of total number of rows. So after the execution of that update method guys, these all things will be done. And here is one important thing, that we have created lb5 which is having no argument here. So guys, you see guys that why we have created this lb5, because in order to display the number which would be returned by that result set object, we have created this lb5, and in order to display the number with the help of label, we have used the text method, and here you can see that we have used the plus count. So due to this statement guys, we are able to see that 2 value that here you are seeing, total number of record equal to is displayed due to this lb4, and the number 2 is displayed due to this lb5. So in this way guys, you can calculate the total number of rows existing inside any of the tables. So now guys, we will learn that how to insert data into the MS Access database. So guys, our application is already opened here. So we know that at the present moment we have total number of records equal to 2, but now we will save a new record in that MS Access database. Like the name should be Taylor Swift, and the ID should be 3, and the age should be 45. Okay, and when you click save, then you can see that here a message appeared that data inserted successfully, and when you click OK, then here you can see that the total number of records has changed to 3, and your text boxes has been cleared out. So now guys, we will learn that how this data has been inserted and how this type of sequence of activity has taken place. So now if you again open your program guys, then first you see guys that first you will see here guys that here is a JB1 object which is related with this save. So guys, moreover you will see guys that we have also attached action listener to this JB1, and also here guys see that I have created object reference variable of this JB1 in the class scope area. Okay, now guys, when you click save, then what happens? Then guys, your this action method is called here. Okay, and this E object of this action event class holds the JB1, and here is a lot of if and else if block. So here guys, if your e.getSource returns the JB1, then this if statement returns true value and this try and catch block gets executed when you click save button. So guys, when you click save button, so see guys, this is the entire code, the entire try and catch block. And in the start of this guys, here we have used the connect method to create a link between MS Access database and the Java application. So first we have created a new link. Now guys, what we have done, we have created three variables: ID, name and age. In ID name variable guys, we have extracted the value from jt2.getText. So actually guys, see here, this is your JT1, this is JT2 and this is JT3. So whatever the value that you have written in front of ID, it is in the form of string. We know that any value that exists inside text box is in the form of a string. So first we have transformed that string into a integer type of value with the help of this integer.parseInt method, and then we have transferred that numeric value into this ID name variable. Then guys, this is JT1. So with the help of jt1.getText method, we have extracted whatever the name that you have given in JT1. So the name has been transferred to this name variable. Now guys, jt3.getText. So actually this getText method does the work of returning the value from the respective text box in the form of string, and that string is stored inside this variable. So actually JT3 is this one guys, and whatever the age you enter here, it is stored inside this age variable. So in this way guys, we have transferred the value from this text boxes into a different variable that you are seeing here. Now guys, what we have done, we have created an object that is PST_empty. So this object is an object of class named prepared statement. Here you can see guys that we have created a object reference variable PST_empty of this prepared statement class. So guys, in the previous video lecture guys, we have used a statement object which is stempty. So actually guys, prepared statement and this statement class both are interfaces and both do the same work, but their way of working is quite different. Like both are responsible for the execution of SQL statement, or you can say for holding the SQL query, but their way of working is different. So basically, what is the real difference between the prepared statement and the statement class is that guys, when you when this prepared statement object, like if you see here, we have used here PST_empty object, and inside this we have used con.prepared statement. So con is a object that has already been created inside this connect method, we already know that. And here is your SQL query. So here see guys, insert into table 2 name, ID, age, value. So see guys, here is the name of the table which is existing inside the data2 name database, and name, ID, age are the different columns which is existing inside this table 2. And guys, this sequence should be same as the sequence which is existing inside that MS Access database. Means first the name should be there, then after that ID should be there, and after ID the age column is existing, and the value that we are going to insert inside this column, that I have not given here, I have just used a question mark. So in this way guys, you will create the SQL statement or the SQL query for inserting record in any table. So guys, we have not specified the value here, but the statement that here you are seeing, this 3 statement, with the help of this 3 statement we are inserting the data in the respective column. Like see guys, pstmt.setString 1 and name. So what is this 1? So 1 is actually indicating this first column. Okay, 2 is indicating the second column which is existing inside this table 2. 3 is indicating towards the third column which is existing inside this table 2. And guys, name is the variable that we have created here, id is the variable that we have created here, and age is the name of variable that we have already created here. And we know that these all three variables are holding the data that we have given in the form. So in this way guys, you will write these statements. And now guys, pstmt.execute update. So execute update is also method which is existing inside the prepared statement class. And with the help of this pstmt.execute update guys, we will be transferring our SQL statement from the Java application to that MS Access database. And after reaching that MS Access database, this SQL query will get executed, and the data that you have stored here, it will get saved in that Access database. But now guys, here the way of execution of that SQL query will differ from the way the statement object execute the SQL query. So see guys, what is the real difference between the statement class and the prepared statement class? We know the work of both the class is same, that is insertion, updation, deletion, query. All these kind of works can be done with the help of statement as well as prepared statement class. But the real difference is guys that whatever the query that this prepared statement object will send to the MS Access, it will be in a pre-compiled form. Okay, and so when this SQL statement will reach the MS Access database, then that SQL statement will get directly executed in the MS Access database. But if the same SQL query is sent by the statement object, then this query after reaching MS Access database is compiled first, and then it gets executed inside the MS Access database. So if you want the fast execution of your SQL query, then you will use the object of prepared statement. But if you want a long time for the execution of your SQL query in the MS Access database, then you will use the statement class object. So this is actually the real difference between the statement class and the prepared statement class. So guys, after the execution of SQL query guys, you will receive a message that data inserted successfully. And guys, again I have called a method which is update one named method. So guys, see here, means whatever the statement that I have used inside this update one named method, so here is guys our update one named method. And here you can see guys that we have used the same statement object and the same result set as an argument. We have used the SQL query, means here is your SQL query and whatever the result set object, and we have executed it. So basically guys, what we are doing with the help of this update one named method, we are just trying to find out the total number of rows after inserting that record in that database. So with the help of this void update guys, we would be able to write that total number of row equal to 3. So the total number of row will get updated with the help of this single statement, that is lb5.sectext plus count. So the work of this update one is only this, means to change the value of total number of count from the previous value into a new updated value. And after doing that guys, if we again come back to our main method, which is the save, like guys here, so we have known that what is exactly the body inside this update one method. and after the execution of this update one method guys, all the text boxes will get be cleared with the help of this set text method like jt1, jt2, jt3 set text, and with the help of this your all the three text boxes will become emptied. And now with the help of close method guys, what will happen that whatever the link we have created with our database, those all link will get closed. So actually close is another method that I have defined in my file. Like guys, if you go there, so guys, here you can see that we have defined the close method, and inside this close method we have used the try and catch block. Inside this try block we have closed the statement object, we have closed the prepared statement object, and we have closed the connection object. So in this way entire link between your Java application and the MS Access database has been closed after inserting the data into your MS Access database. And guys, if any error arises while inserting data into that MS Access database, then I have used the catch block to display different error. Like here you can see that we have used the catch block, and here I have used two errors like data insertion failed, this ID may already exist, or maybe some other error. So this error I have written guys because we know guys that we have attached the primary key with our ID name column. So if user, so guys, we know that duplicate data can't be inserted inside the MS Access database, or you can say inside table 2. So if the user by mistake tries to enter the same data or the duplicate data, then he will receive this error. Moreover guys, if there is other kind of error, then it can also be displayed with the help of this exception class object, that is EX. So in this way guys, you will be inserting data, and if any kind of error appears, then you will handle those errors with the help of this catch block. Moreover guys, if you want to know about how the error is being handled or how this error is being displayed, then please watch my first part of video. There you will understand that how this try and catch block really works. So I'm just leaving this topic of displaying the error in this existing video. So in this way we have successfully inserted our data into the MS Access database. Moreover guys, if you want to get assured, then you can open the MS Access database, and you can see here that I have inserted the data inside this database. You can see Taylor Swift, ID 3 and age 45. And guys, if you want to verify that whether any duplicate data can be entered or not, so guys, again give 3, and here you give some name, and here you give 45 and click save. So guys, you can see here that data insertion failed. This ID may already exist or maybe some other error. So this is one error which I have written. But if you again click OK, then see guys, this is the error which is displayed by your JVM itself or your Java application itself with the help of this SQL exception class. So now guys, if you want to know more about the differences between the statement interface and prepared statement interface, then here I have created one notes. You can see here that what is the use of this statement interface, prepared statement interface, and this callable statement interface. Also guys, here are the two main reasons for the difference between that prepared statement and the statement interface. You can see here, we know that the statement class object can execute DML as well as DDL, SQL statement, but then also we need prepared statement object. So the reason is given here. So guys, you have seen that what is mainly the difference between the statement class and the prepared statement class. Now guys, we will delete the record from that MS Access database. The total number of record is 3. Now guys, we will delete a record. So guys, in this Java application I have written the program of deleting the record by giving the appropriate ID value. So guys, I want to delete the record having the ID number 3. So whichever the record you want to delete, just give the ID value of that record. So I am giving the ID value 3, and if I click delete, then you can see that here a message appears in front of you that deleted successfully. And if you click OK, then here you can see guys that total number of record equal to 2. Moreover guys, if you click this document and if you want to verify from that MS Access database, then just open it. So here guys, your row containing the third ID has been deleted. So now guys, we will see that how deletion of data is being done from that MS Access database. So now we will open our code. So guys, we are in our constructor, and here guys you see that we have JB4 which is related with this delete, and moreover guys, see that here we have created the object reference variable of this JB4, and guys we have also attached action listener with this JB4 here itself inside the constructor. Now when user click that delete, then as we have added action listener to this JB4, so our action method get called. Here you can see that, and this E now contain the address of JB4, and now this if statement will not get execute because JB4 has called this event. Now guys, we have else if. So here also guys, this else if will not execute as it is having the JB2. Now this else if is having the JB3, so this will also not get executed. So this is the block guys which will execute. So now guys, this else if statement will execute because E is containing the address of JB4. So guys, see here, this is the try and catch block which is existing inside this else if statement, and now we will see that how deletion of data took place. So first guys, connect method in order to create a link between MS Access database and the Java application. So first we have established a link. Then guys, what I have done, whatever the ID value you have given here that you want to delete, I have transferred that value from this JT2 into this ID named variable. So I have used the integer.parseInt method in order to transform this string value into a numeric value, and after storing that ID value inside this ID named integer value, what we have done, we have used this PSTMT object, and inside this PSTMT object guys, you can see that here is the SQL query to delete data from MS Access database. So you will write delete from and the name of the table from which you want to delete the row, and you want to delete the row having what ID. So here I have given the name of the column which is ID. Okay, so this ID is not this ID guys, remember this ID is actually the name of column which is existing inside this table too. And now guys, I have written here question mark. So which ID you want to delete I have not given here. So if I want to give the value of that ID, so I have given the value of that ID with the help of this statement pstmt.setInt, and here I have written 1. So guys, this one is pointing to this question mark. Okay, and this id that you are saying, so this id is actually this id named variable. And as we know guys that this id is having the data type of integer, so we have used here set int method, not set string method. Okay, so in this way guys you will use the statement. And now guys we have used the execute update method that exists inside the prepared statement class. So with the help of this execute update method guys, this SQL query will be sent to the MS Access database, and there this SQL statement will get executed, and after execution guys, the row having this id value which is stored inside this id named variable, it will get deleted from your MS Access database. And finally guys you will see a message of deleted successfully. And again I have called update one method. So with the help of update one method guys, the total number of row which is displayed here, it will get updated, and now you will see that the total number of record has been decreased from 3 to this 2. So this updated number is being seen due to the calling of this update one name method. And we already know guys that what are the statement which are existing inside update one. Now guys I have used this close method, and I have closed all the links and all the prepared statement object or whatever the statement object that we have opened, all is closed with the help of this close method. And we already know that what are the statements which is existing inside this close method. Now guys if any error appears while deleting this data from the MS Access database, so in order to handle those errors I have used here catch block, and inside this catch block I have used two errors. So one error is being created by me itself, as you can see deletion failed, and another error is created by your Java SQL exception interface itself. Okay, so this is how the deletion is being done here. Now guys we have done insertion, deletion. Now we will see that how to fetch the information related to any specific record. So actually inside this Java application guys, I have a see here what I want to say you, that if you want to see information related to any row, then you can see the information related to any row through the id value only. So if you want to know information about any row, so you should have the idea that what is the id value in that specific row. Like guys if I want to get the information related to the first row having id value equal to 1, then I will write here id1 and click show. So here you can see that the row having the id value 1 is displayed here, the name Dipen and the age 25. Again guys if you want to get the information related to the row which is having the id value 2, then give the id value 2 and click show. Then you can see that the row having the id value 2 has the name Vandana and age 21. And if you click 3 which is not existing guys, then see here what is the message that you see. So sorry, the record does not exist. And if you click, all the thing get disappeared. So now we will see that how these type of events are taking place, means we are able to see the data related to specific records. So now I will again jump to my Java application, or you can say the client.java, and here we are going to focus on the show button. So if you come inside your constructor here guys, then see here JB3 is related with this show button, and moreover guys the object reference variable you can see here the JB3, and also guys see here that I have added action listener to JB3, and when you click this show button, then this action method is called here as you can see, and now this E contain, or you can say E holds the reference of that JB3 button. Now guys we are inside this action method, and inside this action method we have lot of else and else if statement. So first we have to see that which else if statement is going to return the true value. So as we know that this show button is JB3, so we will jump to our else if. So now guys, here is our else if, and this else if will be returning true value because as this E will be holding the JB3. So see what is the real code existing inside this. We are seeing the try and catch block as you are seeing. So guys, one thing again I want to repeat guys, that whatever the statement or code that I am writing here, all are inside the try and catch block. So there is a reason guys that why I am using the try and catch block again and again. This is because guys, whatever the interface or the classes that you have seen, like a statement, prepared statement, result set, these all type of classes and interface, they all throw exceptions. So if you don't enclose these classes or interface inside try and catch block, then while compilation of this program you will receive error. So it is very important for you to enclose these classes and interface inside try and catch block for the safe execution of this program. So see guys, again we have created a link between the Java application and MS Access database with the help of this method. Okay, and now guys, we are using the statement object, that is stmt, and con.create statement we already know. For that guys, see this SQL variable, this is important. So guys, you can see here that we are using the select query statement, that select name, ID, age from table 2. So these all three columns are existing inside table 2. Now plus JK, so actually we are concatenating two different string with the help of this plus operator. Okay, so this JK, which is a variable having the data type of a string, you can see here where ID equal to jt.getText. So whatever the ID value that here you are entering, I am transferring that ID value with the help of this jt.getText. So this jt.getText returns whatever the ID value you are entering here. And so the full SQL statement, what it will be, see here, select name, ID, age from table 2, where ID equal to whatever the ID you have given. So this is the complete SQL statement that we have prepared here, and it has been kept inside this SQL name variable. Now guys, this is the result set object, and here you can see that we are executing this SQL query whatever we have created here, and after execution guys, your MS Access database will return the row that will be having the specific ID value which you have provided, and whatever the reference of the row that MS Access database will return, it will get stored inside this rs named object. Okay, so now guys, if rs.next method here we have used, so this rs.next method will return true value if this rs object is holding the reference of any row, and if this rs object is not holding the reference of any row, then the else part will get executed. So guys, see here that if this rs object is holding the reference of any row which is having that specific ID which you have given in that student form, so what will happen, string name, we have again created three variables as you can see, and in order to extract those values from rs named object guys, we have used this one, rs.getString1. So actually what is this one? This one is the first column which is existing inside this table 2. So we know that inside table 2 the first column is the name column whose data type is string. So since the data type is string, we have used the getString method with this rs named object. So actually getString method is existing inside the result set class, and so we are able to use it. So this rs.getString will return the name which is existing inside that specific row. Now guys, this is ID, so you can give here the number also, or you can give here the name of the column. So we know that the data type of this ID named column is integer, so we have used the getInt method with this rs named object. So with the help of this statement, whatever the ID value which is existing inside the row which is returned by the MS Access database to this rs named object, it will get extracted and will be saved in this ID name value. Then this rs.getString will return the age value which is existing inside this rs named object. So in this way guys, you will fetch all the information from rs object into the local variable as you have seen. But now guys, we have to display this information on the student form. So for displaying those information in the text boxes which is existing on the student form, we have used these methods: setText, jet1.setText, jet2.setText and jet3.setText. So with the help of these three statements, we are able to display all the values from these variables into these three text boxes. Okay, this is jet1, jet2, jet3, whatever guys. Now guys, if no row is existing inside that MS Access database, like guys, you have given the value of that ID related to which the row is not existing inside the MS Access database, then at that time guys, this rs.next will not be returning the true value and this else part will get executed. And when this else part will get executed, then you will see a message that sorry, the record does not exist, and all the three text boxes will get cleared away with the help of this setText method, as you can see. Now guys, after the clearing of data from text boxes, I have used another try catch statement inside this else block, that if you enter inside this try block, so you see here that I have called the close method. So with the help of this close method, all the links between your Java application and MS Access database will close, and I have used one catch block so that if any error occurs during the closing of the link, so it will get displayed. So this is the catch block of this try statement, and now this is the close of your else statement. Okay, and guys, this is the catch block of this try statement. Okay, so this try statement is having the catch block here itself, and if you face any error while fetching the information from MS Access database, then I see here I have written one error, unable to fetch data, and this is the customized error that I have created by myself, and this is the error that your SQL exception interface will display you, or you can say the JVM will display you. So now guys, we will see that how we can view all the records which is existing inside that MS Access database. So see guys, in order to view all the records which is existing inside MS Access database, you will first click here open, and then you will click next. So if you click next, then your first record is displayed here. If you click again next, then the second record is displayed here, and we know that at the existing moment the total number of record is equal to 2. So if we again click next, then a message appears that sorry, no more data exists, and click OK, then all the text will get disappeared. So guys, how this type of events is taking place, see here. So first we will open our client.java program, and we know that in order to do such type of things, first I have clicked the open button. So see here, when we enter inside our constructor, so here is our open, and JB5 is related with this open, and you can see here that I have declared this JB5 object reference variable in the class scope regions, and I have added action listener also to this JB5. So guys, we will now know the reason of clicking the open before clicking that next button. So when you click open, then this action method is called and this E is holding the JB5, and now we will see that which if statement will return the true value. So we will now point to that else if statement. So here is that else if statement which will return true value if you click open. Okay, and it's inside this else if statement, guys, I have called a method named total. So we will now see that what is actually the body which is existing inside this total method. So see here, I have created a total method. So here is your total method, as you can see here, the entire statement. So what I have done inside this total method, first I have I have used the try and catch block, and inside this try block I have created a link between the Java and MS Access database with this method, and then I have created the statement object, and then I have created a variable whose data type is a string. And guys, see here the SQL query that we have used here. Select name, ID, age from table to order by ID. It means, guys, we are fetching all the records from table 2, and all the records should be arranged in the ascending order of the ID value. Means first that record will be displayed whose ID value is less, then after first record the second record will be displayed whose ID value is more than the first record. Means whatever the rows that will be displayed, it will be displayed in the form of ascending order of this ID value which is existing inside this table 2. Now guys, we will execute this SQL query with the help of this execute query method, and the reference of the first row will be returned by this execute query method, and it will get stored in this RS object. So with the help of this total method, we have created a link and we have executed a query also, and our RS named object is storing the address of the first row. So these are the things, and if any kind of error appears here, then we have a catch block to handle those errors, like unable to fetch data and these type of things. Now guys, we will again come back to our open button. So inside open button we have only called this total method. So we already have seen that what are the activities which is taking place inside this total method. Now we will jump back to our next method, after clicking which we see all the data one by one, or you can say all the rows one by one. So if you focus here, then here is our next, and JB2 is related with this next, and here you can see that JB2 is a object reference variable declared in the class scope area, and here you can see that we have added action listener to JB2. So when the user click next, what happens is that, guys, this action method is called and this E is holding now the JB2, and now the else if statement that will get executed. This is the else if statement that will get executed. So guys, already we have created the link and we have also executed our SQL query, and the result is displayed inside the RS object. So guys, inside this else if block, we have used this try and catch block, as you can see here. Inside this try block, guys, I have directly extracted the information from that rs named object with the help of this if and else statement. Okay, so guys, see how we are extracting the informations. Now this rs named object is holding the reference of the first row which is existing inside the MS Access database, or you can say existing inside the table 2, and this dot next method is existing inside the result set interface, as we know that. And with the help of this next method, guys, this rs dot next will return you the true value, and with the help of this get string, get int, and get string, whatever the three statement that you are seeing here, whatever the value which is existing inside the first row, or you can say the value existing inside the 3 column of the first row, it will get returned from these methods, and it will get stored in this local variable name, id, and age. So now we have all the data which is existing inside the column of first row inside this local variable. And now guys, with the help of this gt1, gt2, gt3, and using the setText method, we have displayed these 3 variables in the text box here itself. Like this is gt1, gt2, gt3. So for the first time when you click next, then the information related to the first row is displayed. Now guys, if you again click next, then what happens is that, guys, this next method now moves from first row to the second row. So actually this next method helps the rs object to point now from first row to the second row. And now guys, this rs.getString or getInt, this will return the information related to the second row, and information related to the second row will get stored in that local variable, and with the help of this setText method, this information will get displayed in the text boxes on that student form. So now guys, as we know that we have only 2 rows, so now if the user click next, then as no row is existing, so we have already seen that we have seen a message in front of us that sorry, no more data exists. So how that thing is taking place? So see guys, if the user click next for 3rd time, then as no row is existing, so this rs.next will not be holding the reference of any rows, and it will return a null value. So if it returns a null value, then here this if statement become false, and this else block will execute, and here you can see that sorry, no more data exists, and your gt1, gt2, gt3, this all text box get cleared away or emptied away. But guys, I have used a try catch block statement inside this else block, and with the help of this try block, as you can see, I have used the close method. So with the help of close method, I have closed all the links which is existing inside or you can say which we have made with the database, and here is the exception. And guys, as you can see that this is the catch block of this try block. Okay, so this is the catch of this try block, and this is the catch block of this try block. So if any type of error arises in this if block, then we have this catch block to handle that error, and you will get the error which will be displayed by JVM itself, or you can say the SQL exception interface itself. So here guys, we have seen that how to move or how to fetch rows one by one. Now guys, if you want to go back, or you can say if you want to fetch the rows in the reverse order, so see guys what I mean to say. If you click open and if you click next here, then you are moving in the forward direction. Now guys, if you want to move in reverse direction, like if I click back, then again I see the row having the ID value 1, and if I again click back, then sorry, no more data exists. So if you want to move reverse in the row, then see here, Guys, we have used JB6 for back and JB6 as an object reference variable declared here. We have added action listener to this JB6, and we know that when we click back, then this action method will be called and this E will be holding the JB6. Now guys, we will see that which else if block will execute now. So JB6 is here itself guys. We know that after clicking open, the link is established and that SQL query will also get executed on the MS Access database, and RS will be holding the reference of the specific row. So guys, here I have used a try and catch block statement, as you can see, and inside this I have not used the next method. I have used the rs.previous method. So previous method helps in going back in the row. Okay, so actually you can use this previous method only guys if you have specified a specific argument guys. So yes guys, so see here guys, inside total method we have been using this argument. So now is the time to explain that why we have been using this argument. So guys, by default we can use only the next method with that rs object. Okay, you can't use the previous method with the rs object. So by default rs can move in a forward direction only. It can't move in a reverse direction, or you can say backward direction. But if you want to use that previous method with that rs object, or if you want to move in a backward direction while displaying the row, then you have to use this result set dot type scroll insensitive and result set dot conquer underscore read underscore only as an argument inside this create statement method. Otherwise you would not be able to use that previous method with that rs object. So this is the reason why we have used this argument. Okay, so guys, now we again jump back to our that previous method. So guys, see here we are doing the same thing that we have been doing in rs.next method, that whatever the information which is existing inside this rs named object related to row, we are transferring those value related to the columns inside this local variable, and after transferring those values we are displaying those local variable in our text field with the help of this set text methods. Okay, now guys, if no row is existing inside that table 2, then this rs will return you the null value, or you can say this rs will return you the false value, and this else statement will get executed and you will see that sorry no more data exists, and all the 3 text boxes will get cleared away. And inside this else block I have used the close method, and you can see that the try and catch block as we have used inside that next button. In the same way we have used all the things here also. So guys, this is the thing which will happen if you click previous button. Now guys, the last button, which is clear button. So actually see what is the clear button. Like guys, if I want to see the information related to the id value 1, then it is displayed. But now if I click clear, then all the data which is existing inside this text boxes, it gets cleared away. So see guys, what are the codings which is responsible here. So for clear guys, I have used JB7, and you can see that object reference variable here itself. You can also see here that I have attached action listener to this JB7, and for this guys, when you click JB7, then this action method called this E contain your JB7. Here not guys, this is the last else block, and this is the close of your action performed method. Okay, so you see here guys, jt1.setText, this blank argument, jt2.setText blank argument, jt3.setText blank argument. So when you click clear, then this block of statement gets executed. So this is how the applications is working guys.